Welcome everyone to Jen's Joyful Kitchen. I share tasty tips and tools and quick recipes with you to help you cook with more joy and live with more balance. So today's episode is all about what you can do for this weekend because Easter is coming. I'm going to share with you a quick and easy recipe called ham and cheese brunch squares. You can make this for Easter, but you'll probably want to make it more often than that after you try it. And then I'm going to share with you how you can actually hard boil your eggs without actually boiling them. And then I'll share how this recipe comes together, and you'll have a fun recipe that you can use for this weekend. So let's get started. So what I've got first is our bar pan here, and this is a stoneware bar pan. And you can see how it looks kind of blackish. I've had this for more than 15 years, and the more you cook on it, the darker it gets because it just develops its own non-stick surface. It's made out of clay and it can withstand heat up to 450 degrees. So that's what I've got my oven set at today. And I oiled it a little bit because I'm going to put my crispy potatoes on the bottom of the pan. So I've just put some canola oil on the bottom, just spreading it around with my silicone brush. And this is great because you can put this right in the dishwasher and you don't have to worry about food getting still stuck in there or having any bacteria grow. This will actually solve all those problems for you. So I'm just going to empty some crispy crowns is what I've got here. You could also use hash brown patties. You could also use maybe some little mini tater tots, different things like that, whatever your grocery store has. And you just kind of want to layer them so they're all in rows because you want the egg mixture to go over the top, and this will be kind of like a hash brown over the bottom. So it's very tasty. And this recipe is also very versatile. So I'm going to do ham with some different veggies today, but you could also do bacon, you could also do sausage, you could also make it veggie and not have any meat in it at all. So lots of different ways that you can make this work for you and your family. So I'm just getting these all lined up. This is a great thing for kids to even help you to do because they like to put things in rows or just help in the kitchen. This is an easy way they can do that. So this was a 30-ounce package of these little crispy rounds, and I'm just going to have a little bit more, but I will have a little bit left, so you'll have a little bit remaining for a breakfast bowl that you could make up with some scrambled eggs and some veggies, some cheese. Oh, this looks already really fun and easy. So I'm just going to add a couple more in my little holes here that I've got. Excellent. All right, so I've got this all ready to go here. You can see how I've got that lined up. Over the top of this, I already grated some cheese, and I'm just going to use about half of it and put this over the top of my little crispy hash browned rounds here. And you're just trying to get it kind of evenly spread, but you do want to reserve a little bit for the top of your brunch squares after they are finished cooking with the eggs on top. So this is just going to give that little bit of a cheese layer in between your potatoes. Excellent. Okay, so we've got that. Maybe just one more sprinkle, right? Okay, so we've got that on there. I'm just going to pop this in the oven. So again, this is just my crispy hash brown rounds and some cheese in my large bar pan. So this is a bigger pan than a 9x13 pan. It is about the size of a jelly roll pan. So I'm just going to set this for about 10 minutes so I don't forget, because I may forget. Sometimes I forget to look at the clock. So while that's actually pre-baking, this is going to be our crust. We're going to now get the middle layer ready to go. And that is really simple. So I've just got a 8-ounce brick of cream cheese, and I'm using the light cream cheese. And just kind of soften that up. Now to soften your cream cheese, very easy. All you have to do is put the whole brick in there, and then you just pop it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. If it's not quite as soft, just pop it in for maybe another 10 seconds. It's very fast. So you don't want to necessarily walk away or your cream cheese will be all over your microwave. So we've got that kind of whipped up. To that, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And you'll want to keep that handy because over the top once you are finished cooking your brunch squares, you can actually sprinkle just a little bit more black pepper on over the top of it. And then I'm going to do a whole dozen eggs. So you can see I've got 12 eggs here, and I'm just going to add them all into my cream cheese mixture. So if you're feeding a crowd, this is a great recipe because it makes this whole pan full, about 12 servings. But even if you aren't, something that you can do is actually make this up on the weekend and then just keep it in the fridge in little portions, and you can simply just warm them up in the microwave. So that's an easy way to have fast and ready breakfast right before you head out the door. So I'm going to keep opening all of these. Now this recipe comes from my recently released blog post that I did about a spring menu. So this ham and cheese brunch squares is on that spring menu. I've also got kind of a wide variety of things because I want to offer you ways to have a variety in your diet without having to think too much. So I've got a spicy tilapia burrito. I've got the ham and cheese brunch squares. I've got garlic Parmesan chicken with a cauliflower mash, and also Asian beef noodles and spinach carbonara pizza. So that means you have a chicken recipe, a pork recipe, a beef recipe, what am I missing? Oh, a fish recipe, and then also a meatless recipe. So a Friday night is pizza night, kind of like it is in our house. It's a meatless recipe that you can actually quickly put together. And that's another fun thing you can do in the week too, because you could have a pizza night where everybody just makes their own pizza. I'm going to quick wash my hands from the eggs. I like to think of menu planning in the realm of weeks, or kind of a weekly rhythm. So maybe Monday is a fish night always. Maybe Tuesday is kind of like a breakfast for supper night. Maybe Wednesday is more of like a Mexican flair night. So maybe you have tacos or burritos or things like that. Maybe you have a pasta night. That makes it easy for you to just kind of think about, oh, it's pasta night. What kind of pasta are we going to have tonight? So I've got this all together. Now I'm just going to take my whisk, scrape that off a little bit, and whisk this together. And we're going to get this creamy sauce with our 12 eggs and our 1 block of cream cheese. And this is the classic batter bowl that I'm using, which I really, really love because it is actually oven safe and microwave safe. It does come with a lid. And then also it has little measuring marks on it. So you can measure out, like if you're measuring milk for something you're making, or berries or whatever you're trying to put together. Oh, got my scraper mixed up. There we go. Just kind of finish whisking this together. And I probably could have softened my cream cheese a little bit more, but it's okay. It'll all kind of melt together in the oven. So you've got this all mixed. Now meanwhile, we need to do a little bit of sauteing of just some ham. Now this, if you were going to be doing any other type of meats, you could definitely be doing that. But this is a quick and easy way to kind of pre-cook your ingredients so it doesn't have to bake forever in the oven. So I'm gonna turn on my little skillet here, just to kind of like a medium heat. And this is our brand new skillet. So this is a Pampered Chef product. And today, if you want any of these products, you can simply just go to my website. I'll be posting that in the comments. But this is a new nonstick skillet. You can put it in the dishwasher. You can use metal utensils. The handle comes off, so you can easily store it in your cupboards, just stacking on top of each other. You don't have to worry about the handle sticking out. Same with the dishwasher. You just wash it like this. It also goes in the oven, and that means you'd actually take the handle off when you're having it in the oven. But then when you're ready to grab it, you just put your handle back on and grab it out. I don't know about you, but you never want to, you might think, oh yeah, I'm just grabbing my pan, and then you realize, oh no, it's still hot. So not going to be a problem because you always can, you take off that handle. I've got 8 ounces of ham here, pre-diced, that I'm going to put in our pan. And then I'm going to also cut up some green onions. And you need about 4 or 5 green onions for this recipe, more or less if you don't like green onions, but I'm just going to cut the tops off here. And then we're just going to slice off the roots. And I like to use a chef's knife when I'm doing slicing. And that's because it has a great beveled edge to it. So you can see kind of how it's rounded. And when you're holding a knife, you always want to have your thumb actually on the blade. That's going to help you with more control over the knife itself and over the food. So I'm just going to kind of rock it. And that's what the chef's knife allows for, is that you can get that rocking motion while you're slicing, which makes it really efficient to get through the whole food in just a matter of just seconds. And green onions are so quick and easy to slice up. So we've got almost all of them done here. This is going to add some great color, but also some great flavor. There we go. And we're going to saute most of these up, but not all of them, because what we want is actually some to be on the top for when the brunch comes out of the oven at the final time, that we can actually have a little bit of extra color. So I'm going to put some of these in here and just leave kind of like a little pile for our top of our brunch squares. There we go. You can hear them just starting to sizzle. I'm going to turn it up just another notch. Just kind of warming them up a little bit. So that's all we're doing, is warming up the ham, warming up those green onions. And I'm going to actually take out our crust to our brunch squares, because it is just seconds away from being finished. So we've got, I'm going to set this right here. This is what I use my stackable cooling rack for all the time, is actually setting my hot dish right on the top, because it acts as a trivet as well. So you can hear that sizzling. The cheese is melted, and we have the crunchy, crispy hash browns also just sizzling up on the stoneware. So the stoneware actually can keep things warm for quite a while because it's made from clay. And that's great because, you know, if you have a few people eating your brunch and you want it to stay warm, just leave it in the pan and it will definitely stay warm. I'm going to pop these two in the sink. And I can hear my ham and onions start sizzling here. They're just going to come up a little bit. Okay, had to do a little twirl so I don't get caught in my cord. All right, so tell me what you are having for Easter brunch. I'd love to know. Or Easter meal. Share that with me in your comments. While we're finishing that for a couple minutes, I want to share with you kind of a way to hard boil your eggs without boiling them. Super easy. So what you do is you actually take your pan or your pot and you get some water in there. You want it about that deep, 2 or 3 inches deep. And then you're going to place a steamer over the top of your pot. And why that's great is it's actually going to take, you're going to boil that water, but your eggs are not going to be submerged in the water. They're going to sit in the steamer itself. And you boil the water, but let the eggs steam for 16 minutes. And that is going to result in the best hard-boiled eggs that you will have ever had. Now, previous to that discovery for me of steaming your hard-boiled eggs, I would always throw my eggs into boiling water, let them cook for 10 minutes, take them off the heat, and then wait for them to cool, and then try to peel them. But they were always super hard to peel. And they always resulted in a green ring around the yolk, which that's not appealing, right? But steaming, if you do it 16 minutes, take them off, put them in an ice water bath, and let them sit for about 20 minutes in the ice water bath. And the great thing about the steamer is you just lift it, and so you don't have to worry about trying to get the eggs out. Then all you have to do is let them cool, and they will be the easiest peeling eggs that you've ever had, and no green ring. So that's also very nice too. All right, so I'm going to turn this off. And we have got our ham and our onions all ready to go. You can see that in there, right? So I'm actually going to throw this right into my egg mixture. This comes together so quick, so you can actually have this brunch ready to go and throw it in the oven. You do the pre-bake of the crust for about 10 minutes, and then the next 8 minutes is just to kind of let the egg set. But when you're cooking at a high temperature, that is how it cooks so fast. So I'm going to pour this over the top. Looks so good already. I mean, I know it's raw, but I'm a big egg fan, so I love eating eggs every single day. They have such a great source of protein in them, but also the flavor and also the variety of things you can do with eggs. All right, so we've got all that. And I'm just going to put that back into the oven now for about 8 minutes. So that's not going to take very long at all. Tell me what you're having for Easter. I would love to know your Easter meal tradition. We tend to have ham and potatoes and the veggies. So sliced ham typically, and always deviled eggs. My grandma loves to make deviled eggs. I don't know about you, but I do like those, and I do look forward to those. We're going to be celebrating with my grandma and my rest of my family, my parents, my in-laws as well. So looking forward to that. Now we just have to finish our toppings. So we're going to add our cheese once it comes out. Better put on my timer. Now that I thought of it. All right, I'm going to put it for 7 minutes since it's already been in there for a little bit. I've got our onions here. So I'm going to set those right next to our cheese because we're going to just sprinkle those over the top. This also makes a great lunch. So today we're going to be eating this for lunch because it's a fun and easy meal. It's got lots of protein in it too. And now I'm going to cut up our tomatoes. So super easy way to cut up tomatoes is with the veggie wedger. So the veggie wedger is also great for things that don't have a core. So you think about oranges, like simply wedging your oranges, your limes, your lemons, so some different fruits. You can also do your tomatoes. You can do potatoes. You can do wedges of potatoes, all different kinds of things. You just sit it in here. And then as you go down, you rock and push down at the same time. And now I have wedged 6 wedges of tomatoes. So it's going to make cutting these into dices a whole lot easier. So I just push down and rock at the same time, and now I've got my wedges. So then to dice them, simply all I'm going to do is, actually I'm just going to cut off the top here where the stem is, and then I'm just going to kind of slice them. But they're already kind of in these wedges, so that kind of makes them diced already. So you can see, got my little diced tomatoes. So this makes, having the right tools really makes preparation that much more fun and that much more efficient when you don't have a lot of time to begin with. Okay, so I've got those. So easy. But I do encourage you to check out my website for the rest of the 5-day menu plan. All the recipes are linked right in the photos, so you can check them out. You can see the photos. You can link to the recipes. You can also purchase any of the products that you wish to purchase. And be sure to share this video too. If it's helpful to you to see different recipes, how they're prepared, get some tips, get some tool ideas of how you can make cooking more fun. Really, my goal is to help you create fast and easy meals and make memories around the table. So these recipes can help you do that. The more we eat around the table, the better, because it really allows us to share and connect, whether it's with your own family or maybe once a week you invite a neighbor that maybe lives alone, or maybe you have a family member that you'd like to have over once a week as well. So you can do all of those different things, and so many great things happen around the table. And even there's a quote, and I do think it's from Ronald Reagan, but back in the 80s, he said, all great change happens around the table, because that's where we share our ideas, our struggles, our challenges, our celebrations, our victories, and all the great things that come through life, on being on the journey of life. Just going to quickly wash my hands really quick. So we've got our toppings here. So isn't this great? I love the veggie wedger. It helps me get all the prep work done. I also loved using this for onions, and even just for like roasting potatoes. It's so easy to have the wedges and then just pop those in the oven with some rosemary and some oil. But also thinking about your mashed potatoes. Otherwise you sit and you chop off, cut it into all these different pieces. You could just simply wedge it with the veggie wedger. I love this thing. So we've got our toppings. We've got our tomatoes, our rest of our green onions, a little bit of cheese remaining. We're almost ready to go. We've got 3 minutes left in the oven or so. I do want to share with you too that if you would like to host your own virtual private cooking class, I can do that with you. I simply create an event with you online on Facebook, and what's really fun is that you invite friends from near and far, and you can reconnect and you can share recipe ideas. I share recipe ideas with you, healthy cooking tips, and also the tools that help you get your meals done fast and help you make it easier to cook in the kitchen so that you, again, get to that table setting where everybody enjoys the food together. So if you're interested in something like that, please just message me or write down in the comments and I can message you. But I would love to share some time with you in teaching some different recipe ideas to help you make more fast and fresh weeknight meals, for example, or even meal prep ideas as well. So just want to share with that because it's really a fun way to learn. Everybody's on Facebook anyway, right? And you can be in the comfort of your own pajamas and you can be at a party, at a cooking party. Oh, and I do want to share with you how I shredded up all of my cheese. So I actually buy my cheese in block form because it does melt better. And it's also, the bigger reason, it's cheaper. I can buy a whole block of cheese for around, I think it's $2, and I can get about 3 cups of shredded cheese with that. Now, if I were to buy it shredded for me, that cost goes up and the volume goes down of how much cheese I get. So I love to just do my own grating, and in fact, a lot of times I just grate, I buy my blocks, like I'll buy 6, 7 of them at a time, and I'll grate them all at the same time. And then I just have my little bags, my little Ziploc baggies, like this one here, and I just store my cheese in it. And then I can write on there, well, this is Colby Jack, or this is Monterey Jack, or this is white cheddar, mozzarella, all those different types of things. So then I'm more in control of the ingredients that we use in our recipes and how much and how the budget spending works too, because if you want to save a little bit of money, you just buy your own blocks of cheese and shred it yourself. So this makes it easy to shred. So I can actually put this over a bowl and shred it like this, or I can make it more of a triangle and shred downward. Either way, you can, you start, if you have a bigger block, you're going to start the grating process by holding the block. But once it gets down to about this much, you're going to definitely want to use the food holder. And this just slides right on. And you put your cheese right inside, pop this lid down, and you can see there's some little prongs in there that holds onto the cheese, and then you just grate. And it works so easily and saves your knuckles and your fingernails. Nobody likes to be chewing on a fingernail, right? So you've got a cheese grater and this is the coarse version, and we also have a fine version, so for your Parmesans and more harder cheeses like that. So let's check our ham and cheese brunch squares. Let me grab those out of the oven and then we'll do some toppings. I can't wait because they already smell so delicious. Oh, yes. Okay, so the middle is a little bit runny, but let me just take it out so you can see. Probably just needs another 3 minutes or so. But you can see, check that out. So good. It's just a little bit runny. I can tell when I move it around. Jiggles just a touch. So let's just keep that in there for another 3 minutes. And basically all we're going to do is top that. We're going to top it with our green onions, our cheese, and our tomatoes. And remember, you can swap out the proteins, or you can just leave it without protein. So you could do the eggs, of course, but you could do bacon, cooked bacon. You could also do cooked pork sausage, whatever you like to do with that. And then you can also swap out the vegetables. So if your family is not an onion-loving family, throw in something else. Onions do offer some nice flavor. You could also add a little bit of garlic if you wanted to, but mushrooms and peppers are good options. If you love zucchini, you can throw that in there as well. So lots of different ways to make this a variety type meal. It's kind of the unrecipe recipe, I like to call it, because it's like a mix and match. Once you know the basics of what the crust is, which is the hash browns and the cheese, then you mix in your 12 eggs and your cream cheese block with a half a teaspoon of pepper. That's when then you can throw in whatever kind of protein you want and whatever kind of veggies you want, and mix it together and throw it into the oven. So it's 450 degrees is what we're baking this at, and you are going to have a delicious brunch for Easter, or maybe every Saturday you do like a fun brunch. I know, like for us, on Saturdays we tend to have maybe a bigger breakfast so that it kind of lasts through lunch a little bit, because we always have some afternoon activities going on. But pancakes are always requested, and French toast that's always requested as well. But these brunch squares are great with that. So you could do pancakes with the brunch squares, or maybe you just do the brunch squares and you do some fruit smoothies with it. All kinds of different things that you can do with that. So I'm going to be putting a link to the menu in the comments so you can see all the 5 recipes, including this one. I'm also going to put in a link to purchase any of the tools that you saw today. So that could be the multi-cheese grater for the coarse types of cheeses. It could be the cutting mats that I'm using, which are flexible and go right into the dishwasher. So if you happen to cut raw meat on there, you can not worry about contamination because they go right into the dishwasher. They come as a set of 3. Also, your knife and how you hold your knife. You learned about that today. And then this is our lifetime guarantee knife. The stackable cooling rack, that's what I've got here. And then I also used our large stoneware bar pan and then our non-stick skillet. And while this is dishwasher safe, it does not need to go in the dishwasher because it's so easy to clean. That's what I do anyway. But if you want to put it in the dishwasher, you can definitely do that. But it's still hot, so I can't really touch the bottom. I don't want to do that and burn my hand, but the handle does come off and makes for a nice cooking experience that you will feel like a professional. And I think that is really the key. All right, let's take this out. This looks definitely much more done. It's kind of puffing up a little bit. So we've got our base, so our ham and cheese brunch squares here. Over the top, just a little bit more cheese. That'll melt right in. You can put that right over all of this goodness that we have in here with the ham and the onions. I'm going to add some of my onions on the top for some extra color now, extra flavor, and just put it all on there, right? Can't go wrong with that. And then some diced tomatoes. You can do as little or as much as you want of these as well. They make it look even more fast and fresh because you've got some extra color on here. Okay. Excellent. Who wants to come over and enjoy this right now? Okay, so to cut this up, and you would want to maybe let this set for just a minute or 2. I can see it's still already bubbling, but you can just cut it into 12 squares. You could cut it into 24 squares. Whatever works best for the crowd you are feeding. And you can use metal right in the stoneware bar pan, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I like my little mini serving spatula. And because I oiled the bottom of the stoneware bar pan, comes right out. So there it is. There's our ham and cheese brunch squares. So if you've enjoyed this video, I hope you share it with someone that you love to help them cook with joy and live with balance, featuring all these tips, tools, and tasty recipes. Keep coming back for more. Every Thursday, I have a new episode live on Jen Haugen RD Facebook page. And then I also house that on my YouTube channel, so you can find that on Jen Haugen RD as well. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, a joy-filled weekend, and I hope that you enjoy Easter with your family and just enjoying all that time around the table. So have a great weekend. Bye-bye.